David Carr is the media reporter and critic for the New York Times, and he has a new book way off that subject. It is The Night of the Gun. A reporter investigates the most harrowing story of his life, his own. And David Carr is here. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Emily.
I'm sure a lot of people in our audience are familiar with this because we all read the New York Times, of course the Boston Globe too, but the magazine excerpted the book and basically tells the story of how, you're this drug-addled guy coming out of high school and even through parts of college and go really rock bottom, get a girlfriend, like, pregnant, you have twins, you sort of pull yourself out of it. You go back and you interview 60 people from that time of your life and you recreate what happened because you're not really sure. The night of the gun, you're not sure who had the gun. I wondered when I read the excerpts, and again when I was reading the book today, why you wanted to know what happened.
Well, if there's any such thing as a hopeless case, I think I was it. A low bottom, polyaddicted, on welfare, loser. And so I wondered, people would say, well, how'd that guy become this guy?
Yeah.
You know what? I never really had a very good answer for that. Yes, I got lucky. Yes, people helped me out. But what really and truly happened, I didn't think I could just go down in my basement, dig through my memory box and figure it out. So I decided to go back using the tools of my day job and, interview these folks, write down what they say, and try and glue it together into a little bit more coherent narrative.
I think almost everybody can identify with the basic theme here. I mean, maybe not quite to this extent, but you think something happens in one way. And part of it is perception, but everybody's had too much to drink or has had some issue in their life where they really think something happened at a different time or a different place or in a different way. But in this case, it was really about a confrontation you had with a best friend, and you thought he had pulled a gun on you,
right.
And it turns out you had pulled the gun on him.
Yeah, and I didn't believe it when he said it, but further investigation revealed it was probably true. In my mind, I was never the kind of guy to wave a handgun around. I don't like guns. I don't like people that carry them. And so in my recollection, I just couldn't abide that memory. I think a lot of memories end up being the stories we want to remember about ourselves. If you think about the story that you tell across the date of the, across candlelight and the first date, that's a version of you, but it's not the whole you. Or even the family stories that you have growing up, are those stories all exactly precisely true? It's a way of explaining yourself to the world.
You're a few years younger than me, but I could identify with some of this. I mean, certainly there's a lot of experimentation that went on in high school and college with marijuana, hash, that kind of stuff. But I would have been petrified to go the next step. Oh, I used to say, I want to try crack just once to see if I'd get addicted. How'd you get your nerve to go the next step? I
don't think nerve really defines it. I mean, I think that we are probably fundamentally different people in that probably from the time I was 5 years old, I liked the feeling of spinning around and feeling dizzy. And this is that same imperative. It wasn't a matter of nerve. For me, when I tried cocaine, it was kind of it was like Proust and the Madeleine, it was like an epiphany. Most people would try it and get a sense of its sort of lurid ambush and walk away. For me, it was an epiphany. I thought, well, this is the greatest thing ever. And I think I was wired that way. I don't think I was any more courageous or dumber than the average person. I think it had a different impact on me when I tried it.
I mean, you some of the stories in here are harrowing beyond belief, but then you have twin girls. And what was it that, because most people, frankly, don't pull out of it. I mean, even if they want to, even if they try. How did you?
Well, it's not really well-mannered in terms of program stuff to say it aloud, but to me, I had been a really bad husband before. I had been a bad son. I had been a bad employee. I hated being a bad father. It was nothing. There was nothing in my background or my tapes. And once you've reproduced, I ended up getting my dealer and friend Anna pregnant. The decision you have to make is, yes, I'll do anything to get high, except maybe destroying the lives of these two little children that have been given to me. I just it created enough of a ledge. I think addiction is about terminal self-involvement, the seeking of what the self wants over and over again. And one thing that reproduction will do is let you know that there are other people on this planet. There are consequences to what you do. And certainly people will have children and still end up in problems, having significant problems
Yeah,
with
but because Anna couldn't do it.
Right.
Why could you and she couldn't? She was the mother.
Here's the thing. My background, my race, the way I was raised, I had so many advantages that other people wouldn't have. If you read the book, there's like 11, 12 arrests. What if I had been a black guy?
Yeah.
What would have happened to me? Would
No,
I have had the fancy?
You said
lawyer?
you should have been in prison, federal prison, HIV positive, any number of things, and died an early adult death. You probably would have if you had been African American.
Part of what happened is I had this one skill, which is typing.
Yeah, no, you're a good writer.
Yeah,
Come on.
well, I tend to type until it turns into writing. And for Anna, once she sobered up and looked around, all she had ever been was a drug dealer. And so for her to find money or get money, she had to go back into life. For me, the minute I sobered up, people started shoveling, not big jobs, little jobs, but little piece of work. I mean, I have friends in there in the book and in my life who say, you know, you always sobered up to, you say you sobered up so you could take care of your kids. But I think you couldn't stand being out of the game. I'm the kind of person that if I don't appear in print, I feel like I don't exist.
Yeah.
And so I have that need.
Well, we love your column in the New York Times. So, and I know you've had issues, but let's hope that this you keep it together, because we'll miss the column, for heaven's sakes. That's all we care about.
It's not like I'm wobbling along. I'm feeling
You look great.
pretty happy and pretty satisfied and pretty proud of the little book.
It's a great book. David Carr, thanks for coming.
An absolute pleasure.